Hello everybody and welcome back to Hearts of Iron, where we are very, very close here to conquering the world. We haven't yet quite pulled it off, but we are incredibly, incredibly close. So at this point, we need to start planning our invasion of Asia, right? Now, my first question, is there a crossing here? Yes, there is, and I'm going to send an infantry unit up over here. Their goal, of course, will be to take over this entire area. So they're just going to offensive line somewhere like here. And they can go ahead and execute that. Perfect. Next, I'm going to send a tank unit over here where we are going to frontline. Ooh, hang on. No, we're not. That was the entire army group. That is a little overkill for this. We want a single tank army here. And they are going to push through Hokkaido. They can't actually offensive line through Japan as of right now. Okay. I guess it got very confused about what we were trying to attack there. I want to attack this island. There we go. Perfect. So that'll be fine. That will eventually take over Japan, down over this direction. So that looks good. Okinawa is here. We probably don't need to actually attack that. And then there's these islands out here that we probably also don't need to attack. So that all sounds good for now. Is that all we don't hold in the Pacific? I believe that to be the case at this point. We don't hold Socotra over here. Who controls that? Yemen? Okay. That's actually the capital of Yemen. Intriguing. We should likely tell one of our naval invasions to be here. So that would be launching from, say, Berbera, and we would just go directly into Yemen. I would like to have 24 units assigned to that. Thank you very much. Okay, so we need to continue to work on our plan here, of course. I'm going to have some infantry units be out over this way. So we're going to have one here. One here. And this unit, we should do offensive lines at the same time. This unit is going to just be pushing something along the lines of that. This unit is going to be attacking just down here. There we go. And we're going to bring in another one down over here. Now I want to take a quick look. Yeah, okay. These guys are going to be extended out over here. I don't want to put additional forces over here. I feel like that would be wildly overkill. So we do need to attack Oman over this way. I'm going to send an infantry unit here. I'm going to select half of them. Actually, I'm going to select all of them. And we're going to tell them, go here. Now, I'm going to select half of those and tell them, go here. Perfect. So that'll get Oman under control. What else do we need to deal with? Sind. Okay. We can have a tank force over here, like so. And of course, this tank force is just going to push in like this. I want to make sure that these guys have an offensive line set up. Not like it's very complicated, but here we go. No one is assigned to that? There we go. Now they're assigned to it. Perfect. So both of those will, of course, execute. Now, these guys, I'm going to select half of them. And we're going to have them be down here. Like this. Then they're going to offensive line something like that. Okay, they can get going on that one. That'll be absolutely fine for the moment. Of course, there's more territory to take over here in Arabia, but that seems fine for now. So, out over here, I feel like a single tank army is probably capable of handling this. I'm just wondering about how we want to actually end up doing this. For now, I'm going to do that, and then we're going to put in another front line with half of these units here. But then I'm going to grab one of them, and he's going to go right here. Just the one division, and we're going to push up like so. Okay. Then these guys are going to offensive line in something like this. Yes, there's going to be some empty territory out over here that they might, emphasis on might, end up actually getting somewhere with. We'll see what happens with that. But we are running out of units, and we need to do something about that, right? So over here in Burma, we can set up a front line to be out on this side. Indeed. I'm just thinking about how we want to do this, right? We are running out of units. That said, we have these assigned down here. I want to get rid of these invasions so that we know which one of these is unutilized. So let's have this unit of Marines, for the time being, come down here, with their idea being offensive lining somewhere down like this. That'll be reasonably okay for now. And then we've got one tank unit here. I'm going to have that tank unit be split a couple of different ways. So we're going to select half of these divisions. They're going to come down here, like this. But then I'm going to select, like, maybe about 4 of them up here. Something like this. And they're going to come down here. This is not very many units, right? But we're going to give them an offensive line, I don't know, something like that-ish. That'll do, I guess. It's an awkward offensive line, but whatever. These guys are just going to push through here. And then these, there's only 8 units here. They are going to attack something kind of like this. Would do absolutely fine for the moment. And then these guys are going to be the primary Burmese attack, right? So we're just going to push up something kind of like that. And that'll be absolutely fine for right now. So all of our troops have orders. That's pretty much all of these mainland areas. We'll see how things end up going with some of these island areas, right? So there's this here, there's this here, there's this here, some territory down here. That'll all take some time to get to. I think that's very, very clear. We're going to need to advance time forward a little bit and let our troops get into position. So that is mission number 1 here. In the meantime, let's take a look at infrastructure. Oh yeah, we definitely need some infrastructure out here. So I'm queuing this up at the top of the list here. And there's quite a lot of infrastructure needing to be built. So we'll get all of that done. Is this controlled by us? Yes, it is. Beautiful. So that looks good. And we just need to get all of this queued up. Eventually these will queue. There we go. Perfect. So something along the lines of that. Hello. What about you? Yeah, you need it too. There we go. So that looks good. That gets Africa under control there. And we can come down over here and do the same in South America because not all of these locations are set up either. So that is definitely something that we want to do. Guatemala's returning their expeditions. Okay, that's reasonably expected. Let's just get all of this infrastructure put in. Yes, we need some up in Haiti as well. Excellent. So that is a fair amount of infrastructure. No doubt about that. And I want to check in down over this way. Yeah, that's not controlled by us necessarily. Is this? Yes. This is controlled by the Dutch over here, which is not necessarily ideal. It's fine to build in, but we don't necessarily care either way. So that's okay for now. I want to check in on factories now. Oh, wow, we can build a lot of factories, and we absolutely should. Factories of the civilian variety are our top priority here, so that we can get these constructed faster, right? We got to continue the modernization. So we're going to make our way through here. Let's check in on New Zealand quickly. Yeah, there's one there. Perfect. And then over in Africa. There are a number that we can build here for sure. So we're going to get all of these queued up, and that'll be great. And then once those are online, we will of course build just that little bit faster, which is always wonderful. So let's get that all done, and pretty soon now we're going to make our war goals, which of course we are accelerating. That'll be absolutely fine here. So the question is, how in position are we now? Looks like kind of is the answer.
Nice.
I'd call that kind of in position. Okay, we're fairly close to being in position at this point, I think. I do want to go into our construction really quickly here and go down below this infrastructure and see, yeah, there are some civilian factories here that I want to move up. Okay. These naval bases can be moved up as well. And it can just be something like this, where we're primarily going to be building infrastructure once all of this is finished. Now, we're not building all of this simultaneously. That's going to take a little bit of time. And that's absolutely okay. There's no problem whatsoever with that. So we're going to need to do instant_war goal for the sake of time again. There we go. And we're going to need to go through here and war goal everything that remains at this point. And there are going to be some problems due to not having enough armies, right? I mean, we could split our armies up a little bit more than they already are, but I kind of don't feel like we should. I feel like we clean up this area and then we can head down here, and it should go fairly quickly. There may be some territory that we lose in the early portions of the war, and I'm okay with that. So we're going to justify and declare. Excellent. And then we're going to justify and declare. Over here in the Trucial States, same thing. Justify and declare. And Oman, justified and declared. Perfect. Down over this way, the Casimir state, or Casimid state, rather, will justify and declare as well, of course. There's a lot of these little states that we need to take over here. So Kathiri will be the next one. We'll justify and declare. Perfect. And Mara will justify and declare. Okay. So that includes Yemen, correct? Have we justified and declared on Yemen? Yes, we have. Oh, that's interesting. The city is Yemen. But this is actually part of Mara, isn't it? Yeah. Yes, it is. Okay. Well, that's fine. Oman we should already be at war with. Yes, that is correct. Next up would, of course, be Sind. So we will justify on them and declare. Out of curiosity, what is our 6,883%? Okay. That's a lot of world tension we've generated. It doesn't really matter at this point, of course. So let's head over to Himalayas. We're going to justify, and we're going to declare. Same thing over here. Justified and declared. Cool. So we're making very solid progress here. We just need to head into Burma next. There we go. And we'll declare. These guys down here. Justified and declared. Excellent. Okay, and then we need to make sure to grab Japan up over this way. And Hokkaido, which is a different thing. Hokkaido needs to be independently justified on. They have market access with Japan. I'm not shocked about that at all. And we're going to justify and declare on Japan. Perfect. So at this point, there are still a few areas down over here that we need to justify and declare on. Excellent. So we're going to do that right now. We're going to justify and declare. This down over here, same thing. Justified and declared. What else do we have? So there are a couple of states down over here, maybe even only the one. I think it's only the one here. Yeah, that's all part of Bali there. Excellent. And then, of course, we've got these guys down over here. So we've got Johor, where we can justify and declare. Did we declare on them? No, we didn't. Okay, then we've got these guys to justify on and also declare. And these guys to justify on and declare. I believe at this point that we are now at war with the entirety of the remainder of the world. Except that we have an available war goal here. We'll declare that. Okay. So I believe that to be the situation at this point. I believe us to be at war with all of these. Is there a diplomatic map mode? I'm sure there is. How would we see that? Supply, terrain, resistance, compliance, resource, infrastructure. Factions is kind of that. Okay. Well, they're joining the Confederacy of the Asian Nations. That will make things a little easier. And of course, we're attacking on all of these fronts. So that seems absolutely fine for right now. And we're going to see these guys... Oh, we're not actually attacking over here. Get going. We're going to see these guys crush fairly soon. Okay, so that's one unit that has capitulated. Or rather, one nation that has capitulated. And that didn't free up any of our forces at this time, so that's okay. We're making our way in down over here. That's reasonably fine. The Ottoman Empire isn't in this, so we're not able to actually attack from here. So let's call to arms the Ottoman Empire. And now we can attack from the north up here. That looks good. Okay. So this seems fine. Yes, we are taking losses over this direction for the moment. That's understood. Sind has capitulated, as has Nepal and Bhutan. So that frees up 3 of our armies. So at this point, I want to move down here. And I want to offensive line just straight up like this with this infantry unit. So they'll arrive there soon enough. That is under control. Next, we should do the same in the Philippines and in Borneo. So that's looking reasonably good. There's this situation down here as well. Right. Okay, so I'm going to send this armored division out over here. Actually, I'm not convinced that's required. I'm not convinced they have any forces. I'm just going to send this tank unit to their capital and see what happens. This tank unit here can come down this direction, with their goal being to offensive line simply to here. Okay, so that gets this area under control, this area in theory under control, and this area under control. So then all we need to do is come down to the Philippines here, something like this, and offensive line just down like that. Okay, so in theory, that is the entirety of this situation under control, right? I want these guys to simply start advancing. There's no one here, so just head in. There you go. That'll be fine. Burma joined the Confederate Asian Nations. That's not shocking. And these guys are on their way in, yeah. Okay. So this is not the entirety of the enemies. Sind, Sikkim, Nepal, and Bhutan. We'll submit those demands and confirm an exit. Okay, so that was like some of the independent nations right there. So that seems good. We're going to continue to work on pushing these guys in here. Ainu Mosir has capitulated, so that's Hokkaido. Wonderful. We're going to select all and submit demands and confirm and exit. Perfect. The Japanese shogunate has assumed the leadership of that faction. And that's reasonably understood. Okay, there goes another one. So we're going to submit all of that and confirm and exit. Beautiful. So a lot of these people joining the Japanese shogunate here. That's fine. That's absolutely expected at this point. So this is the Confederate Asian Nations. Hang on. Is Bahrain not in this? Bahrain isn't in this. They should be. So we're going to do that. Now, this infantry unit here, there are multiple infantry units. I want these guys to go deal with Bahrain. That will not take very long. And then I want, let's see, these guys here to come down and actually, I'm going to delete one of these orders. I want this entire army here frontlining like this. And then we'll just have them offensive line straight down like that. But this tank unit is going to come help them because that's a fair amount of territory and we need to push into it, right? So the tank unit is going to come down here as well. That seems fine. Then we've got this unit here, which is now freed up. Okay. We can think about some naval invasions out over this direction. It's probably unnecessary, but we can get going on the planning for that. And then we've just got this infantry unit. And what do we want that to do? To be honest, we don't really need it to do anything. So there's that. We'll just leave it be for the moment, and this seems absolutely fine for right now. So this is looking good. We're making very solid progress on the mainland. There's very little left there. Burma has capitulated. Perfect. Bahrain has capitulated. No shockers there. And we're just going to continue to move in over this direction. I don't think we need any future orders to get the world conquest completed at this point. I think we're done. We've got these guys just pouring in here. There's very little they can do about that. Yeah. There goes another capitulation. Perfect. Now, how are we doing on our conquest of Japan here? How indeed. Where are our tanks? Okay, that's an interesting question. Where are our tanks? These guys have forgotten where they're going. I want them to just offensive line down here. And this guy is just going to continue to go up over here. Where did our tanks here go? I feel like I might have accidentally ordered them to go somewhere they shouldn't. Well, that's okay. We're about to get a bunch of tanks here freed up. So that's looking reasonably okay. Of course, down in this area, we're going to continue to press in. We're just waiting on the tanks' arrival down over this way. Actually, I'm wondering if this is the tanks in question. It definitely is. Okay, I'm going to tell these tanks to come up over here. Forget about this other line. This is not the tanks that I wanted to come over here. We're going to tell them, get back over there. They are supposed to be up here, pressing in like so. So I want them to offensive line just down over like here, honestly. Like that would cause capitulation if we managed to get there for sure. So go ahead and do that. That is fine for now. We're waiting for a tank unit to be freed to come in over here. But I guess in the meantime, we can put a defensive infantry line over here. Or even better, we could have this be the army group. So that would end up getting rid of all of these orders. The army group would then come here. Like this. With the offensive line of the army group being down here. So that's 1, 2, and 3 armies. Yes, that is the correct number of armies for this. Okay, so that looks good. That is all correctly signed up now. Now we've got this out over here, which is not really having anything going on. Forces are arriving now, so that looks good. Down this direction, tanks are working on crossing this amphibious crossing here, which is going to be difficult for them. We'll see how that ends up going. And up in Japan, yeah, Bali has capitulated. Up in Japan, our tanks are on their way back. They were, of course, not supposed to leave here, but this is fine. So the Trucial States have capitulated. That seems okay. And we're still pressing in over here. It looks like just our infantry are going to be capable of taking this over without any real problem. So that looks fine. The real question is, how long will it take us to get Japan? Right? Now, I do want to have one of these fleets, it'll be this one, heading up over here. This fleet can be pulled out of this area and will instead come out to the East China Sea. Okay, something like that. Oman has capitulated. Looks good. And both of these can execute when they're ready to go. Cool. So Arabia here is capitulating very rapidly. That's all looking good. This will all be freed up. We've got this area under control now. In fact, everything down here appears to be very thoroughly under control. We are still fighting in the Philippines. That'll take us a little bit of time to push across, but that doesn't look too bad. And then, of course, Japan. Japan will take us a little bit more to get into, I think. This is a level 10 naval base here, so there is that. But it's going to be difficult for us to cross over here. We're probably going to have to do a naval invasion somewhere down here. It's going to take a little bit longer, but that's actually perfect timing. Because, yeah, as I'm recording this, we need pretty much one more episode before that Stellaris expansion launches. So this works out very, very well. We can put a cut in here, and what is going on here? Get in there. I know you've got some supply issues, but you've got them completely pocketed. Well, we'll continue to work on this. We've got a few locations that are not fully under control yet. So I'm going to actually have these guys forget about this order. They are instead going to be prepping a naval invasion of Japan proper. So we're going to be going from here over to, like, here or so. So they can get started on prepping that. That sounds good. Of course, we want to pull this navy then from the Red Sea over. So we're going to remove that, and we're going to tell them to patrol in the Sea of Japan. Okay, that looks good. So with that under control, we've got multiple pathways coming in here, and Japan will fall in the next episode. You can leave your offerings to the engagement gods in the form of likes, comments, subscribes, and bell ringings, and a very special thank you to all of the channel members for making this video possible, including ALS Gamer, Shadow Wolf, Atala, Ali Lee, Dark Horse, Upper Cumberland Gamers, Nick Smarty, Dimitri H, Punching the Microphone, Soccerman12UK, Kintogan, and all the rest. And of course, you. Thank you for watching. If you'd like to support the channel, you can click the join button down below the video, and as always, I will see you all next time.